Mr. Samet Akalilu.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time with Baystar TV.
Thanks for having me.
You are the spokesperson for the family.
That is so.
Can you tell us the entire story?
Okay, so on Saturday last week, we had an unfortunate incident. An incident involving my sister's son, that is my nephew. He's Ishmael Abdallah Mensah, 10 years old. Apparently, in the morning, my sister, my nephew, the late nephew, and my sister's husband, who is my brother-in-law, had finished taking their breakfast. And apparently, my brother-in-law had traveled from our hometown in the Ochi region to Kasoa. And so just after the breakfast, he had gone to have a nap. My sister was with the young boy at the hall. Then the young boy took his laptop, playing what they call computer games, trying to play games on the laptop. In the process, a young boy came home, knocked at the door, and entered the hall and told the late Ishmael that two of their friends were out there waiting for Ishmael to join them to come play football. Apparently, this is their routine on weekends, because weekends they don't go to school. And these boys in question had become like part of our family, to the extent that they could come and feast in our house. And so there was no way any parent could have premeditated on this occasion that this was the plan. So Ishmael just put his laptop down, followed the young small boy who came to call him to go meet the two other older boys. Only after 30 minutes after Ishmael left, we heard someone crying and shouting and approaching the house. Ishmael has been killed. Ishmael has been killed. Now, Ishmael's sister is called Alima. She's the only female of the siblings. Alima was the first to hear because she was outside in the compound. So she heard it and didn't believe it. So she rushed there and indeed saw that her brother was killed. So she then returned to the hall where her mother was and broke the news to the mother. My sister then told her husband, who was already having a nap. And when the husband rushed there, it was true. The boy was killed, and these killers, Nicholas and Anani, who killed my nephew, had a well-orchestrated plan if you looked at the way they executed it. One, they used blocks, and they had a pickaxe, they had a shovel. They were able to dig a miniature grave. After smashing the guy's head and other parts of the body with blocks, they were able to, they put the boy in the grave, or what looked like a grave. And this is an uncompleted building, so they could easily dig. Then they covered it. When we asked them at the early stages, they said, well, a fetish priestess. They took a number of a fetish priestess from a television ad and called this lady, who said that if they wanted to be rich, they needed human body plus 5,000 Ghana cedis. So when the boys were asked why they did this, they said, well, they wanted to present the story like Ishmael had been kidnapped, so that Ishmael's mother will send, that is my sister, will send 5,000 cedis to them. They would have then accomplished the two items or requirements the lady needed from them to become rich. So they would have gotten the 5,000 as ransom, yet they would not bring the body, and they would have gone ahead to do whatever rituals they wanted to do.
So, so the initial plan is not to kill Ishmael?
Well, you wouldn't say so, because the person wanted human body.
Okay.
So question then is, how was the human body going to be presented? Was Ishmael going to be so quiet that these boys were going to carry him from Kasoa all the way to wherever the fetish person was?
Yeah.
So bottom line is that they wanted human body. and whether the human body was to be sent live or not, they decided to kill the body. And so those are the details the police will uncover as the trial has begun. And so fast forward, back and forth, we wanted the body because we are Muslims, and for that matter, per our traditions, a dead body must go as early as possible. So it took us a number of days, and yesterday we got the body around 11 a.m. and by 3 p.m. we had done what they call janaza. Janaza is the Islamic prayer for the dead before the dead is buried. Then after that we had the adua, which is like the final prayer after the burial, and that was the end of the story. And because of COVID, we just decided not to make any razzmatazz, not to overly make noise, so a lot of people would team up at the place and all of that. But surprisingly, Ishmael died a national hero, because to have a small boy of this nature dying, and you had the regional police commander present, you had the regional minister for Central, Honorable Justin Mary Gould Asan was there, all the district commanders, we had at least 4 members of parliament, the media, so for us, we felt that, well, maybe Ishmael's death would send another message that the authorities will begin to act. If indeed these boys pick the numbers as they claimed from a television ad, then the national discourse that has been ongoing that the media content, especially television and radio, need to be checked, especially about these fake spiritualists, let me put it so. I think for all you know, it does look like maybe the death of Ishmael has engendered that national discourse and national debate, and who knows, he may just have been used to atone for that.
So now, have you heard from the 2 boys' families, their parents?
So one of the fathers of the boys had been very responsible. Mind you, I had told you that, okay, so maybe I didn't say that. The story is that the arrest was rather done by one of the fathers of the kids. Oh, okay. So mind you, there are 2 kids, so it means that they have 2 fathers. Now, when the killing was done, a younger boy who was sent to call Ishmael rushed to his father and said, "This is what my brother plus the other friend had done to Ishmael." So their father rushed to the scene. It's just like 5 meters from their house where the uncompleted building was. Right then, saw that it was true. So he rather arrested these 2 boys, his son plus the son's friend who did the killing, and brought them to my sister. And to quote him, "Monka de moye Ishmael enchire ne mami. Monka enchire Ajia de monfa manonka. To it, tell Ajia what you've done to her son." So we commend that man, okay, because many parents or fathers could have shielded this and would have now been struggling to know where Ishmael is, just like the Takoradi killings. But this man showed leadership. He didn't only bring them to my sister for the kids to confess, he had already called the police. And before we realized, the police had come, and we handed over the boys to the police. So yes, that man had been responsible enough to this, and that even yesterday he called and said, well, he had left the house because he was, though he didn't commit the crime, but he was scared of reprisal, that out of anger some family members of ours may retaliate, and that's why he had run away, not because he wanted to avoid us. And he assured us that whatever information the security services and the law courts will need, he's more than ready to testify that indeed it was his son, or his son was one of the killers, so that any stiffer punishment that will be meted out to his son, he doesn't care, because he doesn't feel that this is something that he should shield. So aside from him, the other parents, we are yet to hear from them.
Now, looking at how fast these 2 boys were able to dig the ground, and with all the plans, some people are saying there are other people behind this whole thing. What is your view on this?
Yeah, that is our suspicion, and I think that suspicion has some level of credibility, because at their ages 18 and 16, albeit subject to investigations, we think that it couldn't have been, the plan couldn't have been, executed without brains behind. That's number 1. Number 2, we are hearing in the media that so far about 3 to 4 adults or other persons have been arrested in connection with this. So obviously it does look like it's a cliffhanger. I am sure as the days go, we will hear more names that may be connected with this case.
So how is the family faring now?
Well, the family, first of all, we described the incident as a double jeopardy. That was our description, double jeopardy. The first jeopardy was that we lost Ishmael and we are not going to get him for good. The second jeopardy was to the effect that we were struggling to get the body to bury, and that was very traumatizing for us because it was attacking our religious faith and our religious belief every microsecond that we're not getting our son. Lo and behold, that hurdle has been crossed, and so we are now just left with one major headache. How do we get these boys prosecuted, these boys and their collaborators, perpetrators, prosecuted, that it becomes a deterrent to themselves for further actions anytime they want to do, they may plan to do this, or other persons who may be planning to commit such a heinous crime.
Have you heard from the police so far as in the next action from the...
Well, as far as we know, the police are still investigating, and that is why in the media it is rife that several other persons have been arrested. The police do not necessarily owe us that. Of course, we may have to reach out to them and find out how far. But as far as we are concerned, we have absolute confidence in the state investigative body, the CID, and all the agencies involved. We do know that the next adjourned date for the case is Tuesday, the 20th of this month, April. And so I'm sure that whatever arsenals and materials, or even like pieces of information that the police will need to ensure that they have a watertight investigations, watertight case against these persons. I'm sure that's what they are doing. And so as of now, we have not heard from the police, but we are not so much bothered because we think that they are competent and professional enough. As and when we need any information, I'm not too sure the police will deny it. But for us, we are confident that by the 20th, when we go back to court, they should present a rock-solid case against the people.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Akalilu, for your time, and sorry for your loss.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
All right.